Okay guys, so this is going to be your waving tutorial. So now a wave is a fluid movement that travels from one side of the body, and it's always something cool to learn to show off to your mates, and it also feels really nice as well. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways you can do this, and normally when I teach this in classes I work through different levels. So level 1 would be going from straight arms, so these are your 180 degrees and your 90 degrees. So they're the two angles. See, look, dance mats, you know, we're getting it all in one. So these are your angles that you need to use. So level 1 would just to go from the wrist angle, then down to the elbow. Now be careful when you do this, make sure you've got the line going down as straight as possible. So for this, you really need to rotate your shoulder inward. So this can feel a little bit uncomfortable if your shoulder is not so flexible. So to get the elbow up, you might want to look at yourself or take a look in the mirror here to really get that. Otherwise you're losing the line here. Okay, so let's go through that again. So you drop your wrist, then you leave your elbow there but drop your arm. Okay, so ready, drop your wrist, leave your elbow where it is, but let your arm come down. So they're your two 90-degree angles. Then we're going to go into your straight line. Now this has a two-way pull, so you have this hand gets pulled away that way at the same time as your shoulder gets pulled up. Now if I show it to you, if you just do the arm, it just looks like that. If you just do the shoulder, it just looks like that. So you really need to get your head around moving the hand and the shoulder away from each other. Okay, ready? So you've got wrist, elbow, shoulder. Then it needs to move from one shoulder to the other via the chest. So I like to think that I'm pinching my shoulder blades together here to get that chest up. Or if you've got your sternum, that's this part here where your ribs join, if you're getting that up to the ceiling, then that transitions this shoulder from the chest into the other shoulder. And then you need to reverse it. So can you remember what came before the shoulder? Elbow. And then what comes next? Wrist. And then hand. Okay, so then of course once you get to one side, it travels back the other way. So as I always say when I'm teaching classes, when people go, oh, is this it? Is this it? I'm like, no, because you blended both sides, hand, elbow, hand, elbow. It's lovely when you want to do this move, but if you want to do this move, it's got to move into the body and then back out of the body. Okay, so try it again. You've got wrist, elbow, shoulder, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist. And again, wrist, elbow, shoulder, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Okay, so that's level 1. So what I would do now is I would pause this video, I'd go find a mirror, and then, or a window, window's always a good mirror as well, and then I would just go through each of these positions until it gets into your muscle memory. And how do we know something's in your muscle memory? When you can hold a conversation and do it as well. Okay, so as I was learning this a couple of years ago, what I would do is I would go through the movements in front of a mirror, then I'd step away from the mirror, go through the movements again, check it was in my brain, come back, check them again. You can also do this eyes open, eyes closed, and then you know you're ready to move on to the next one. A really good challenge is, can you walk and do that at the same time? Because you're trying to keep the tempo with your legs and then going through the movements. That's one of those, definitely. Okay, so that's level 1, wrist, elbow, shoulder, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Okay, level 2 uses this position. So I've added in an extra angle. So instead of going wrist and then to elbow, we go wrist, then you turn your hand the other way as you go into elbow. So you can see if I do that slowly, hand flat, hand towards you, hand flat, hand towards you. Now this is the secret weapon. This is what gives it that real ripple effect. Is this, can you see I just picked it up on this side and then out. So you can see, look, there it is, bing, before it goes in and bing before it goes out. Really, really super important. So how do you find that position? Drop your wrist, and then as you drop your elbow, you're putting your hand flat. Again, you've got this rotation here to really get the angle, and a mirror is absolutely brilliant here to do this. So I also, when I'm training this, we go from penguin to bendy penguin, penguin to bendy penguin, and that's a really good way. If you just do this maybe like 20 times and just check you're getting the angles each time, then when you go to find them here, your muscles are more likely to remember them. Okay, so do you know where you go from here? From elbow Yep, straight into shoulders, same thing, 2 arms pulled, into chest, into shoulder, find it on the other side, and now here, think of this part of the wrist pushing away. So you've got it flat, push away, flat, push it away, and then lift. Reverse it. Drop it, find it on this side, shoulder, chest, shoulder, find it on this side, and can you see how I've remembered to drop my shoulder down and then push it out? So remembering to drop that shoulder, really important, because if your shoulder's already here, then you can't do this one. So shoulder has to be down, then shoulder up, then shoulders down, then shoulder up, flat, push, out. Okay, so we'll do one round. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Okay, now pause the video now, see if you can get that into your muscle memory before you come back for level 3. Okay, level 3 uses the shoulder roll. Okay, so this is rolling, 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 rolling. So you're rippling through. So instead of going lift, stop, 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 you're now going roll, roll through the chest and back to the other side. So this is very important. You could even pause the video here, go check yourself out in the mirror, come back and check with me again and see if you've got that action. Okay, let's see what it looks like if you put that in. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, 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 elbow, wrist. Okay, wrist, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, elbow, wrist. And then when you bring it all together, it gives you more of that little ripple. Again, you can use it, you don't have to use it, only if you want to. Okay, so that's your level 3. So what have we got? Wrist, elbow, or wrist, elbow, shoulder, up, or shoulder rolls. Okay, so you can totally choose which level you want to be at, and once you've got one level down, then move to the next level. So first level is just bringing it here, then you've got through. Second level is with that extra angle, and then third level is with that shoulder roll, and see how you like that. Now, once you've got those, we move on to level 4, which is my lovely little wave analogy. So my C analogy here. So if you come to class, you know how much I absolutely adore this. Okay, so here's my little story. Here's your dolphin, there's your dolphin, okay, and here's your jellyfish. Here's your jellyfish, okay. So your dolphin dives. So now what I've added in here are the use of the fingers. Before we were just going dropping the hand. Now what I'm doing is I'm curling the fingers, and this actually takes a little bit of practice all by itself, especially if you need to stretch. If you've got tight arms, then you might, that might be even too sore for you to do. So you might even need to just stretch it out a little bit first, just to get the flexibility there in the wrist. So you're rolling here, and then your dolphin dives, and of course its tail is the last thing that you'll see before it goes underwater. So dolphin dives, you see the tail, and then this is the dolphin swims out along the bottom of the sea floor, which causes a ripple, a ripple, a ripple, a ripple, and scares the jellyfish away. So what I've done here is I've curled my hand out, so it curls down when you're dolphin and out when you're jellyfish. So again, dolphin dives, leave your tail in the air, this is your tail. Then it goes along the bottom of the sea floor and causes a ripple, a ripple, a ripple, a ripple, and then scares the little jellyfish away. So you know ripple, if you throw a stone into the water and you've got those ripples, so that's the same thing here. So when your dolphin is causing a ripple through the ocean, it scares the little jellyfish away. Okay, yes, those of you who've been dancing with me for years know how much I absolutely love that little analogy there, that imagery. Okay, so go back through your 4 levels and stop the video each time to make sure you get one level before the other. When I was learning this, I just gotten a dog, so every day we would go for a walk in the forest, and I put my music in, I had a favourite track, and I would just let the dog off the lead, and off we go. I would go through each of the different moves, and when I got one, I'd move on to the next one, and then I started to listen from other people, and that's when I got the shoulder rolls from my good friend Dylan. He was saying, hey, add a little shoulder roll there. So you find what works for you. Get a mirror, get a friend, whatever you want to do together, and see if you can work your wave. Okay, have fun.